acoustic.
You do.
Can you hand me one?
I think it's over there by you, actually. Look at that.
All right.
We found the pool stick.
Pool stick. Found pool stick.
All right, podcast number 5.
Paulcast.
Paulcast.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Break.
Going in the hole. Here it is. Every single time.
The thing is, people who actually know pool will know that
you have no idea how to play it.
That would be harder to do. You couldn't do that if you tried.
Yet you do it every time.
Oh!
That was almost a good break.
I gotta shoot again. Hold on, people. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
He never should have made this.
Right in the camera. We're just gonna do this way. It's a better shot.
Good.
Come on, get on down there. This could be it. Oh my gosh, we've got 2. I gotta pause for station identification. If you are here for the Paulcast and you just saw that magic happen, you're gonna enjoy this show.
His ego.
We are talking
3 sizes
about
that day.
no, 2 sizes because I made 2 balls. In.
Okay,
that's the best start I've ever had
you
to a
still
podcast.
Have to hit
anyway,
okay.
We are here to talk about the making of the Bones video.
Yes.
On the channel. We're gonna have a great time doing that.
We are.
And I've got some other things that we need to get into first.
Okay.
Kind of house cleaning, take care of some business stuff.
Gosh, it's so
I've got to
boring.
make this shot real quick though. So
okay, let's do it. You make that shot.
This has never happened
in the history of you playing pool with anyone ever.
Okay, that's more like it.
Yep.
All right.
There we go. Back to normal. All right.
And we're back. All right. So, we're going to talk about the making of the Bones video, both the audio, the video, the whole side of that. So you'll definitely want to stick around for that. And, but first of all, yeah, you didn't get nothing. So, if you're new to the Paulcast here, basically, my video producer here, Red, and film guy, editor, best boy, grip, key grip, all of it. That's
Do you know any other ones?
No, that's all my video terms I know, actually. All I know is that this is shot in 4K, which is just like my TV at home. So
yes, except for your TV can only see 3.6K. It's not.
I probably can
4K.
only see 1.3.
You can only see 2K if you have 20/20
Anyway,
vision.
Anyway, we play a game of pool. We get together each week. We play some billiards here.
Indeed.
Because we're both terrible at it. And
we're both great.
Makes sense that we do that.
Paul, don't put yourself down like
Last week on episode 4, we had a guest that played pool. Completed the first game. Won and completed.
Yes.
The first game of pool that had ever happened on any of our
Did we ship him his
podcasts.
trophy yet? Did that get out the door?
We need to do that. We need to get that out to him. That was our special guest, Dylan Matheny, who was talking to us about music in Nashville, made a new EP. He does the podcast himself as well. Just a lot of exciting stuff. Local guy that we know and love.
Hair gel connoisseur.
I stole his sunglasses after that episode.
You did.
Still wearing them. And enjoy that as well. But, we try to have some fun around here.
Occasionally, yes.
We start out with a little weekly update, kind of catch up with each other, but also goings on around the world, should it be.
All around.
Then we jump right back to what
Paul,
our topic is.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who run the world?
Who what?
Who run the world?
Who run the world? Who around the world? I said around the world.
No. Who run the world? Girls.
Are you... as what sort of...
It's a Beyonce lyric.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I know who Beyonce is.
I know. She's better.
She's married to Jay-Z.
She is.
She is.
Do you know who's married to P. Diddy? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. We go down that road
That
for
is
a
a trick
long
question.
time. Anyway, getting us off track already. So we have a lot of ADD on the show, and that's okay. And anyway, so did you have a good 4th of July?
I had the best 4th of July I've had in years.
Okay. Sounds great.
It was great, yeah. Now, I was fortunate enough to go with my girlfriend and her family to her parents' lake house and spend my 3rd and 4th of July on a pontoon boat, having a fantastic time going to waterfalls
Such a romantic.
on the lake, and
Waterfalls on the lake.
Yes.
I went to a lake as well. we went up to Illinois, or actually Wisconsin, to a lake up there.
Was it one of the great ones?
It was pretty great. I mean, yes. Geographically speaking, I don't
Not
think
so
so.
much,
It
yeah.
was more of like a river that turned into a large pool.
Sounds right.
No, it was called Rock Lake, actually.
Rock Lake.
River, Rock Lake, something like that up there. And so we went up there, had a few fun days tubing and that sort of thing. And then the next day, we were, hanging out with the family. I decided
As
to
you
get
do.
on an electric scooter.
Oh, God.
And one of those Razor electric scooters.
Oh, so not like the Target kind with
No.
the 4 wheels.
No,
that
no. This is more similar to the Lime kind.
Ah, yes,
And see,
yes.
I actually I have a driver's license for Lime. We rode these in Australia when we were over there with Low Cash.
And it requires a
Preston
license
wrecked.
there?
It was really awful, but anyway, I'm a licensed driver for an electric scooter. I am. And
This is a real difficult task, isn't it?
yeah, you take a picture of your own license, and all of a sudden you're licensed to scoot.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty
Sounds
good.
right.
I was licensed to scoot and got on this electric scooter that was a
Licensed to
kid's
scoot.
device.
That's like a
And-
Weird Al version of a Beastie Boys record.
Yes.
Licensed to Scoot.
Licensed to scoot. I like it. That might be another song that we do.
I like
Licensed
it,
to
yeah.
scoot. We just get around on a bunch of different brands of
Let's do
scooters.
it.
This is a great idea.
It really is.
And
$1 million idea.
so it went one way. I hit a patch of water on the driveway. It
as
went
you
one
do.
way. I went the other way. I fell on my hip and it was more of my buttocks.
Yeah.
Right on my buttocks.
Yes, please use the medical word.
And I have this bruise that goes from my knee all the way up, my butt, around. It's bad news. Had to go to the
Jeez.
doctor. Fortunately, nothing broken, but I'm walking kind of like,
What did the doctor think of your bruised peach?
they were like, that she was a nurse practitioner. She was a little bit
yes.
just scared. She
All
went,
right.
oh, it's never a good sign when the doctor's like shocked at what they see.
Yeah.
That's how
That-
bad the
that
bruise
guttural
was. I basically,
backward reaction.
To sum it up, I looked like the girl from Willy Wonka. I looked like a
blueberry
blueberry
one?
from my leg all the way up. But
Good Lord.
anyway, so that was pretty much. I spent most of my 4th of July propped up and not feeling real great, and that's okay.
There you go.
But anyway. So
you had a great
we got
time.
back home, got to get back to normal a little bit today, actually.
That's
I
good.
got to go sing in a studio that I hadn't been at in 6 months. We all wore masks. Not when I was singing, but just to be around
Right.
each
Yes.
other there. So
In the lobby,
that
the
was a
waiting
little
area.
different, but a little sign of, it's the whole deal. I know a lot of people have different preferences on mask, no mask or whatever. Studio rules, wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
I wore a mask.
Yeah.
And guess what? We got work done.
I like
And
it.
I kind of was like, maybe we need some more of this where we just start getting some work done. But
Yeah.
anyway.
I agree.
So yeah, it sounds like we had a good week, good holiday time.
I think so,
And
yeah.
all of that and whatnot.
great week.
What I liked most about the week?
What?
That we put out the Bones video.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite part of the video. I mean, of the week. Yes, was the video.
Yeah, so week is a
And
video.
it was, it actually came out that whole weekend of 4th of July.
did, yeah.
And man, we had a great response and
Yeah, we really
comments
did.
and over 12,000 views.
Yeah,
the
everybody
first
seemed to really
couple
appreciate
days.
what we did here.
And it was pretty awesome. So then I did a little follow-up picture just this week to get some people to check it out too. And
Which
it was
one?
funny. Had some comments from some people that I got some buddies that are real funny. My buddy Jason White. It was this picture where I was kind of standing in the doorway, leaning up.
Oh,
looking
yeah,
real
just
serious,
casually the way you do for a
Yes.
senior picture.
That's right. And
Or a prom.
and he posts. He's like, because I was asking for it. Anytime you gotta be careful when you ask for comments on your social media. You
You got to be
'cause
careful when you have friends, really.
This is true. Friends and social media, right? So my buddy Jason, he's a great Christian singer, and y'all need to go look him up. He's got a new EP out too.
Oh, well,
Jason
how
White
about
one.
that right
there? So anyway, also have a really great story about converting him to PRS guitars.
I thought you were gonna
finally,
say
after
Christ.
15 years of friendship, he came over to the dark side. But that's for a different day. Anyway, he commented below. He's like, "No, that's Paul's look. How he looks when he answers the door for Papa John's, right?"
Oh, of course.
so
Because you don't have to tip if you do that up front.
I guess,
right?
yeah. If you're just like, hey, I ordered a pizza. Thanks for coming. But no. So I was like, actually, Jason, I have a Papa John's pizza story. Of
I thought
me
you'd just gonna
coming
say
to
pizza.
the door.
I was excited for
Well,
a second. I'm
I
hungry.
am a foodie and I do love
Papa John's pizza.
Papa John's
Can we
pizza.
get some Papa John's pizza
maybe that's,
for the
maybe
podcast?
that's on the ticket. Yeah, because I need that. Anyway, so he's always wanting me to buy him food. I don't know what
I
the
don't
deal
get
is.
paid.
Well, me neither. So anyway, we get paid by your comments
That is
and
true.
your likes
And your love.
subscriptions
And your shares.
and
Most
your
importantly,
shares.
the shares.
All of those things. I feel like we just did all the cliche YouTube things there. Yeah.
We did our jobs. We can move on now.
I feel like a random video now. This is good. If you play Fortnite,
You know.
you know. Anyway, that'll be my son's favorite part of this whole podcast is that I made a Fortnite reference. Anyway, so
You kind of did. You made a Fortnite YouTuber reference.
I did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share
Real
this
meta.
quick story. Then we got to get on to talking about this making of the music video.
We gotta hit some pool shots.
And hit some pool shots. Here, you hit some pool shots.
I'll
I
hit
believe
some
it's your
pool
go.
shots.
Oh no, it's my go actually.
All right,
Hold
you go.
on.
Marco.
I'm going to make
Marco.
this one right up here.
Let's do it.
Oh,
And a scratch.
White ball follows up.
All right. Tell your story. I'll play some
Anyway, so Jason Whitehorn, anyone else who's interested out there for this. So basically, my story is I got to divert for 1 second, though, and I really should be staying on task. But I've been watching this show called Outlander on Netflix, and the girl says, the main girl, she's like, and he was a great, not a great storyteller. She said, and he was a storyteller, like most Scots are. And like, I don't even know how you just did that. That I don't even know what I just saw there in that shot. We'll talk about that in a minute. There's also, but I don't think that counts. It was a scratch. So anyway, I didn't know that it was like a globally known thing for 300 years that Scots are storytellers. So I'm just throwing that out there. So I'm going to tell you a right good story right now. Anyway.
And all the Scots were offended.
That's right. That's all right. So.
Your stick and your ball.
Thank you. So I ordered pizza. I'm back to this ordering pizza, right? From Papa John's.
Yeah.
And I was like 15, 16 years old, or whatever, at my parents' house. I ordered pizza, hanging out over summer. They're both at work.
You're a real latchkey kind of kid, weren't you?
Kid. So my brother and I used to wrestle around like any good Scots. We'd like to beat the crap out of each other.
Oh yeah,
that's what we do. So he'd beat the crap out of me and body slam me on the kitchen table and throw each other into cabinets, and we would have food fights and then try and clean it all up before my parents got home.
Right.
So we broke.
How'd that work?
We broke, and I could.
Yeah.
So we broke the cabinet handle. I think it was when I got thrown into it, and
so that's one.
It was just So it was just kind of dangling down and like just this. Very jagged metal piece, right? So I was on the phone with my girlfriend and had it was a corded phone. They believe in only corded things. Like as long as there's a landline available,
Yes.
they will still have one. So
Tried to get your father to buy a cordless drill one time.
Yeah, not happening.
No.
If it doesn't have a cord, it doesn't work. So, so this phone was still on a landline with a cord in this house, and so the doorbell rings.
Yes.
And I know it's my pizza. So I'm like, I got to go. I'll be, hang on 1 second.
Sorry, you're important, but not as important as
I don't
pizza.
hang up. I just put the phone down, right?
Okay.
So then I stand up from the chair I was in, but I stood up into that cabinet, that handle that was broken off, and it went in. And then I went, ouch, and turned away, and then made basically the shape of a letter
You ripped
L.
it out.
And all of a sudden, this is right at my kneecap, and I have a scar there still. And blood's just, it's like a little geyser just going off. And I have to make an important decision.
Struck a line there, huh?
Struck a line. Do I tend to my wound, or do I go to the door for pizza?
Pizza.
And I chose the pizza.
Good
So
boy.
I hobble there
Terrible
with
high
my
five.
open wound just gushing out, my cash in hand, and I hand it to the guy, and I'm like, "Here you go." So I keep the change.
Wait, this affected your voice?
Yes, he's in such shock that he's holding the pizza box and won't give it to me. I'm like, "Dude, I gave you the money. Like, let's go. I'm bleeding out here."
Pizza.
And he's just like, and he doesn't know what he's seeing. So I take the pizza box, close the door, my girlfriend's on the phone, like, not understand. She's hearing whatever.
Babe,
I'm just screaming.
Where are you?
And pizza people and all this sort of stuff and everything. So
Is Papa John's there?
anyway, my whole point is I don't answer the door for pizza like I did in that Bones photo shoot that was on my Instagram, Jason. I answer the door by bleeding out
onto the pizza delivery man.
Pizza delivery person.
Much more intrusive.
And in honor of this today, because I told him I was going to talk about this on the show, I wore my cold pizza shoes.
Oh, very nice.
These Will Dowdy gave me these.
Did your mom put those in your lunchbox?
My shoe
for
guy,
you?
no. This is crinkled up tinfoil.
It is.
And then on the inside, you get pepperoni pizza. So these shoes have seen a lot of shows, seen a lot of stages, and but it's the first time I've ever worn them while telling a story about pizza.
It seems appropriate. Yeah.
Anyway, on to stories. Let's talk about the Bones video here. I got you scratched, so I
did. Position yourself wisely, sir. Yes. Very fabulous.
This is entirely too much interruption. I'm making too many shots today.
You are.
To have this.
That's a real flaw.
Anyway, so getting on to the Bones. So it started out with an audio recording.
Yes.
And
like always,
I had played a bass of yours, Music Man bass, in
the Ray 34 California.
Yes, in the Watermelon Sugar video that we did. You can check that out on the channel as well.
Indeed.
And man, I enjoyed it so much. I reached out to ernieball, who already endorses me for the strings and picks and all kinds of stuff that we use out on the road.
So why not a bass too, right?
I said, hey, I really like your basses.
Yeah.
So, and I need to put one in a video. And
give it over.
I got so they were awesome. And shout out to them for sending me a bass, hooking me up. And so I got this bass and was just kind of messing around with it. And I had heard on the radio the Bones. And I heard that song a bunch.
Right.
Maren Morris is actually.
Were they good?
Huh?
Were they good? Were the Bones good?
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so I include him so I have someone else to talk to. It's not.
But
always
really, you
the
could
choice,
just talk to yourself.
Honestly,
you
be
could
a mono,
just stand here and talk to yourself.
Mono show, but that wouldn't be any fun.
It'd be fun for us to watch you slowly go crazy.
That's right. So Maren, we actually did a show with Maren. First time that I did a show with her was probably 4 years ago, and it was an acoustic show, and she crushed it. I mean, she's really awesome as a writer and singer, and we're up there with we got 2 guys for front man, we got 3 guys behind us as a crew of instrumentalists playing for Low Cash, and so there's 5 of us in our set, and we do our thing or whatever. Everybody loved it and yada yada, but then we came over to Maren, and it was just her and a guitar.
Yeah, and
she's about way tiny.
Yes.
I don't want to offend anybody, but she's really tiny.
She's a small person.
She's very petite and didn't know what to expect. And to hear the voice come out of this little itty bitty living space was
that happens sometimes.
Was amazing. And she sings her butt off. Her song, she's such a good writer on top of all that too.
Yeah.
So we've had the privilege to do bunch of shows with her, both acoustic and in full band. Last year we did one full band with her and Keith Urban.
I was there for that.
You were there, yeah. You shot the video on that one too, and it was just awesome to see the growth that she's had. And now, of course, the Bones is one of the most popular songs
in the world
out there.
Yeah,
that's not why I chose it.
No,
to do it.
Of course not.
I chose it because I had heard it on the radio. I'd heard it many times, but for whatever reason that day it kind of caught my ear, and it was like, man, that guitar lick I've heard 100 times. I've heard it live. I've seen it live.
Yeah.
I've heard it on the radio, and it's very simple, but it's kind of iconic to that song.
Definitely.
And I had just gotten this bass, and I was like, actually for a different song, and I started messing around with that lick on the bass, and I was like, we could do this song and actually do the bass as the main lick instead of the guitar. Which I think is
so cool.
Yeah, so it just gave the song a whole different flavor. Player. And so then I started adding some other instruments to it, but I wanted to keep it real simple because I wanted the bass to have a very prominent voice in it. So basically just put some drums on, piano, guitar, some real easy pads, and the rest of everything I did with vocals.
Yeah.
And so even though it was minimally tracked as far as instruments went, as I was
Still
doing
many
each
layers.
instrument, I added like 20 layers of vocals on there in different key parts or whatever. But and part of that arrangement idea came from podcast 3 that we were talking about influences, and I was talking about some of the R&B influences, Brian McKnight, Boyz II Men, Take 6, those sorts of things, and I've just always loved how they do harmonies and
Beautiful.
and interplay and all that sort of stuff, counterpoint kind of things. And so decided to I couldn't be both Marin and Hozier and a whole band.
No.
So I decided to just be me.
Yeah.
And so I played all the parts and then sang all these vocal parts on top of it and kind of made it have its own little vocal dance going on, which was just a lot of fun. Yeah. And, I think that's one of the things that you and I have talked about when we're doing these cover songs and cover videos. From our backgrounds, I can even steal from something like opera, for example,
totally.
Where, as a tenor, I might have 10 roles to do or whatever within a career. And it's like playing the same, being in the same 10 movies your entire life, playing the same role.
So, I mean, Al Pacino is basically done. So,
yeah, right. So, in doing that, how do you stand out among thousands of other singers along in the world when there's only basically 10 jobs available?
Well, Al Pacino says hoo-ah a lot.
Hoo-ah.
I think that's
I should have said hoo-ah more in opera. But so anyway, when we're doing these covers, it's important to, you and I'll hear it, you'll see it, and we'll go, all right, that's awesome. I want to do exactly not that.
Yep.
And so we try to
pretty much every time
try to not copy the original artist,
not at
but
all.
kind of put our own sort of spin on it, whether it's a musical change or whether it's a visual change. And
they give us the ingredients, we add the flavor.
There you go. See, you like cooking too. So maybe we should start doing the show in front of a stove. What a cooking show.
We can change it
just
up.
Mix it up. Turn it up.
Why not?
My buddy Harry Myrie, who plays drums, has a great YouTube channel. Y'all need to check him out too.
Definitely.
You need to watch his trash can ending video, and it's all about cooking on the drums. It's awesome. So
sizzling up some beats.
Yeah. But anyway, I think our concept, I started out minimally with the instrumentation, and that kind of led to doing the video in a minimalistic way, I guess you could say, where we went to this, we'll talk about how we got there in a minute, but we used a half-built house.
We did.
And to me, The Bones really was about foundation. The word foundation in that song just stood out to me. I was like, what can say the word foundation? So we decided to go with, we got to find a half-built house. Yeah. Oh, because that's easy and legal. And so, but anyway, talk about how, so for music, it's important when you do minimalistic stuff, it still has to be dynamic, because it's very easy to make something minimal and have it turn out boring.
Lifeless. Yeah. Flat.
So that was the challenge in me with the audio, is how do I make it minimal production yet colorful, very dynamic and colorful, and make all of these things come out? How does that relate to in film?
So I think for when you look at it from a film approach, I mean, basically what you have to do is just, you take what the song has to offer. You look at lyrical content, you listen for the feel and the vibe of the song. You try and get pictures in your head so that you can actually think of a picture to put in front of a camera. So after I did that for a little bit, and we had kind of discussed the idea of maybe, doing a real hardline visual representation of the story in the song, which basically is the half-built house. Then from there, all the images just kind of set into place. Like some of the slow zoom in shots and things like that. Those are shots that I knew we were going to do way before we even got there. I really just think that there is some modern, but also retro influenced filmmaking that went into a lot of it, because it's that, kind of B-movie slow zoom into the villain sort of shot for most of it, but it captures the dynamic of the song, in my opinion, because it's like, here's the subject. We might not be shoving it in your face. It might be disguised behind like this sweet melody, but there's some real depth to it here.
Yeah,
and visually that portrays the same thing.
I was, honestly, a little nervous about how it was going to turn out, because we had done the Watermelon Sugar video was based around a specific piece of gear, the Headrush looper board,
right?
And how to basically be a one-man band, and how to capture that, and it just made sense to do a little easy warehouse shoot, right? Just for that sort of thing,
pop,
so that
kind
it was
of fun
more
song.
about the performance, of it than it was making a video out of it,
right?
But so it had its purpose, and then when we did the Castle on the Hill video, it was just so much fun and cinematic and like a mini movie in itself, and getting to use a drone and a castle and all of this other stuff to be in the shot running through the woods, that had its own feel. That when we decided to do this minimal kind of thing, I was like, man, how's this gonna follow up? Is it gonna look good? Is it gonna look right? And all that. Because there's a lot of unknowns. I personally have not seen a video. I'm sure it's been done. I personally have not seen a video in a half-finished house.
Yeah, I haven't really either.
So I didn't really know even where to steal from,
right?
If you will, for that video.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of like example stuff for this one. Like for Castle, we had like a whole lookbook, and we had several pictures that we kind of referred to, and like a real specific color grade that we had in mind that we kind of borrowed from a feature film. And for this one, it was totally kind of free and open, because there wasn't really anything that had already done this format. We kind of didn't have that example. We didn't have a workflow to build off of. We had to kind of create it for ourselves. We made
everything there was nothing to build off of. In fact, we didn't even know, now we get into the fun facts, right? Fun facts side of things. We didn't even really know where we were going to end up for shooting this video.
Not only did we not know, we drove around for quite a while trying to figure that out.
We spent about 2 hours, and I had this idea, because like I said, the word foundation just stuck out to me.
Yeah.
I originally thought, well, maybe we'll just go to like a plowed over hill, or maybe we'll go to where there's some cinder blocks set up.
Right.
And I was like, there's no way. I actually called some real estate friends of mine to see if we could get into a certain house and all this sort of stuff.
Just nothing's being built.
Can't do it. Yeah. Everything's either already built, or the old houses are sold, or you can't get in them. And I was like, man, this is. And then it just kind of hit me while we were driving around. I was like, hey, when I was a kid, our hangout a lot of times was to go to new construction houses after the construction workers had left. I'm sure that's a pretty American thing to do. Yeah. And let's go hang out and in some unbuilt houses, because it's fun. You can run up stairs that aren't all the way built. You can jump off of rafters that you shouldn't be. All the stuff your parents tell you not to do. You can go do.
An unfinished house, you're free to do it.
So we drove up, and being the time of year that it is, it's still light out, and we needed the natural light because we didn't really bring any lights.
Yeah, no. And there wasn't really a way that we could have brought lights for that.
So we pull up to this house, and you look at me, and you're like, "Well, okay, what are we gonna do?" I said, "Well, we're gonna go in the house." You're like, "How are we gonna do that?" Well, we're just gonna go in the house.
We're gonna walk in, yeah.
So we just gotta
me
own
being
it.
the cautious one who doesn't want us to get in trouble.
I was like, the worst that they can tell us is to leave.
Yeah.
So we walk into this house, and first without any gear or anything. We were like, let's just take a walk.
Yeah,
around.
let's just act like we're.
And it was funny.
A couple of guys looking for a house.
I felt like as we walked in the house, and maybe you felt this way too, I started seeing the video come to life as we saw the different rooms of the house.
Yeah, because everything was so. It's funny. It's funny the way it works out when you let things happen organically and you don't try and push it, and you're just like, we're gonna drive around. We're gonna find the place that feels right. And literally walking in there, I was like, okay, that literally is what I've been seeing in my head. Like that down the stairs shot, like that. I knew that we had to do that before we even got there.
And we talked about, it's in a description on one of our videos. I don't remember which one. When we started doing these music videos, it was COVID time, still is.
Yeah.
And we were just like, hey, there's no rules right now.
Yeah.
Let's go back to being like kids.
Wild West. Let's do some fun stuff.
and remembering why we got into doing what we do, both for music and for video. And so, yeah, we kind of took that approach to this one too. Like, I don't know where we're going to end up, but we've got all the stuff. We're going to go shoot this. And so we walk in. So then we're seeing shots. We're getting motivated. Everything's looking cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
grab the gear.
Hey, why don't you go get the gear real quick, and I'll make sure if anybody comes in the house
that you do nothing but stand there and go, oh, sorry.
So I may or may not have
offloaded all the work onto me yet again.
I feel like I was taking all the risk because I was left alone in this house. If anybody pulled up, they were going to come find me.
And I would have been safe in the car.
Protecting the house, and you'd have been safe in the car. So I was protecting the house while you brought all the gear in.
See, okay, this is not even my problem with this. The problem is that the bass was in a case that looked just like a gun case. And
very true. It did look like we were setting up shop.
Sketchy looking, just walking bags of stuff into the empty house.
The sketchiness is only in how you walk in. If you walk in head down.
Excuse me, pardon me, sir.
You have such a jolly, frolicky, flowery way about yourself that when it's like you're almost dancing on a cloud when you're walking into a house legally with instruments that look like guns. So I didn't worry about it.
You had faith in me.
I had faith in you.
All right. Well,
I knew
all is atoned for.
There you go. So so we walk in, we're setting up and we're shooting. There's it's pretty hot out. We're sweating. But we're getting stuff done. We're figuring out angles, doing all that stuff. Yeah. Again, for those of you that don't know, and this is no pat on the back, this is just the real part of it. I do all the tracks, all the audio, all the mixing, all of it, and playing all the notes, yada yada, singing all the stuff. And Red does
all the video.
All the video. Yeah. He's a one-man video crew. And you had a buddy of yours that we know that we talked about earlier on the show actually assist you on the editing on this one a little bit and give some point of reference and that sort of thing. But still, other than that, on that day of the shoot, it was just the two of us. And the crazy thing about that is, it's high risk, high reward, kind of situation.
And we were rewarded.
But we also took a lot of risk.
We did.
And going into this house and hanging out. And
we were only there for 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours in an empty house. So
we really needed to inspect the property before we bought.
That's what it was. Who's to say we weren't potential buyers?
You know, our podcast studio deserves its own space.
Speaking of potential buyers, while we were there in the last hour, some potential buyers showed up. We had a great 3 hours that were just fluid.
Yeah.
We were really into our workflow, in the zone. And then all of a sudden, this really nice Audi pulls up out front. And these two guys walk out and we're like, oh, crap.
Yep. Here we go.
These guys probably are the owners. Somebody tipped them off. And they're coming to check on this house.
Yep.
Or the builders or whatever,
right. Some bigwig is about to come shut our production down.
They're coming up the driveway. I'm up in what would have been the constructed bonus room. You're downstairs.
Where you decided to continue hiding.
So I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just and so I'm calling down. I'm like, are we doing this? Are we out? What are we doing?
I'm going.
And
you're
like, no, wrap it up.
We gotta go.
You're packing stuff up, and I'm like resisting the urge to pack things up.
Yes, you did.
I'm like, well, did they say that we had to get out? And you're like, no. I didn't talk to them, but we just need to get out of here. And I'm like, no.
We're being cautious.
I'm saying to we got to talk to these guys first, right? So he's like
big
sweating.
Talker.
He's no longer frolicking. He's no longer full of flowers. He is complete despair on his face.
I still am full of flowers, even if it's
flowers
in a jail
and
cell.
Fearful flowers.
Fearful flowers.
So you
My
had
flowers
your,
were wilting
you had your
moment by
fearful
moment.
flowers on. Say that 5 times fast. And I'm going, well, surely there's got to be a way to bargain with these people. So I actually come down and I'm like, and as they're walking in the door, and instead of coming to kick us out, the guys say real humbly, they're like, hey, I'm a realtor. I've got a potential client here who really just would like to see the house. We won't be here more than 5 minutes. Do y'all mind? And then all of a sudden my demeanor changed.
Oh, did it change?
Hey,
out from the rafters comes Paul.
we were just about to take 5 on a break. We're shooting a major music video here today. But yeah, you guys go ahead, help yourselves.
No, it's
we
fine,
need to relax a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
So then
We're gonna call our CSAC guy, make sure it's cool for y'all to be here real quick.
So Red's looking at me like, "What are you doing? Why are you? We gotta get out of here. This is our chance."
Oh, not good. I was a little frightened.
I end up continuing the shoot, you know?
Yeah.
And so I start talking out loud while they're talking about like floor plans and stuff.
Yep.
I'm purposely talking out loud, going, "So Red, I think this shot over here by the steps
get my
would
monocle
be a
real
great
quick."
idea." And we start talking, all this film terminology. Most of it made up by me because I don't really know.
Because you don't know film terminology. Tell me, do you know what a stinger is?
Dude, I had this yellow jacket that got a hold of me one time when I was little, and it swole up so big on my arm. It was the worst stinger I ever had.
You know what a C-47 is?
I flew on one. Actually, no, it's a C-17, sorry, with the USO tour.
Also, it would be a 747.
No, it was a C-17.
No, I'm saying the one that you thought that was.
You said C-47.
I said C-47.
Right. And
plane is a 747.
No, a C-17 is a plane. I know my planes. Okay. Don't confuse me with my planes. I don't know what C-47 you've flown on, but I've never been on one. Anyway.
That was my point entirely.
We're getting back to
It's a close
the
pin.
video
The C-47
that we were doing,
pin.
talking our video terminology
that you still don't know.
That I know extreme amount about. Look,
yes. Do you know what above the line means? Can you tell me what that means on a set in hierarchical terms?
Every time I fill up my Keurig in the morning, it says, "Do not fill above this line." I know English.
Similar principle,
yes,
honestly.
Technology, yes. So, anyway, we decided to continue filming for about another hour.
Yeah.
Hour, 15
no, we
minutes
really milked it, actually.
And so we milked that out of there. We got to get about a good 4 hours out of that. I think one of the things that was so cool about that is that the actual natural lighting that came in, had a lot to do with where we were able to select shots and stuff for the video, and kind of made it come to life. That was a great
Thanks.
shot. What were some of your favorite things, favorite places in the house? Things that the house told you to shoot, lighting wise, visually, all that stuff.
So, I really loved doing all natural lighting. There's a filmmaker called Terrence Malick who did a couple of films where he lit it completely naturally. We know. Maybe we should go for chess next time or something like that.
Dude, I can play some chess.
I can't. Why have we never played chess before?
Because
that'd be a
we're
great
trying
time
to do a cool podcast.
Yeah. All right. But anyway,
the only time chess was ever cool was when Will Smith played it in the park in that movie.
In Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Film
Will
guy.
Smith makes everything cool. Like he literally walk in the room and
it's just awesome.
It's just
because
cooler
of that.
when Will Smith's in the room.
I watched I got into this series of videos for a while. And it's like behavioral science where I guess you'd call it an analyst or like a therapist, observes the movement of a celebrity or something like that. And then
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Explains why what they do is so important. So for Will Smith, they said one of the reasons everyone likes him so much is because he makes eye contact with everyone while they're telling the story, and he is the first one to laugh at every joke.
Yeah, man, those are. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Probably why I like him.
There's just cool things to learn from stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say
his likability can be calculatable in a way.
It has nothing to do with his ears.
They're cool.
Okay.
He hears a lot.
All right. Well, we're just about to wrap this up. Yet again, we have
that was almost
not been able to finish a game. This is sad.
We don't know how to finish pool. You and me specifically.
Dylan was here.
Dylan did good.
And, the podcast lasted a little longer than this one probably, but he finished the game way before
Yeah.
the point where we're at here. Anyway, I think we crossed some things off the list.
Yeah, we crossed some streams for sure.
With the Bones video. And we've got some more that are coming.
Totally.
We're already planning out the next one.
Next one's coming down the line.
I think what we're also trying to do is make each one a little bit different than the next.
Special and unique.
And
for sure.
And that may be harder. It may take more time, but hopefully that's a good reason for people to keep watching the
I think
channel.
it'll be appreciated.
Keep being interested in the backstory of how we make these things. A lot of times I think people think, oh, well, they went and rented a set, or they did this, and there's this crew, and
that's not the way it is.
That's one of the cool things about this time right now is that
it's very guerrilla, very hands-on.
It's a very hands-on time dealing with these sort of things. I think we can make them pretty cool. And so, hey, if you enjoyed this today, let us know about it. Comment and all that typical YouTube stuff is great. We just want you to enjoy yourself. If there's something you'd like us to talk about, we probably talk enough. But if there's something specifically that you'd like us to talk about or get off subject about, we need, we definitely left-hand turns.
Do that.
We can do that too.
Some right-hand ones.
We possibly have some really neat things coming out for taking this podcast out on the road.
Yes.
We've had some requests for that, taking it to other people. So it may become
mobile podcast.
Mobile Paulcast.
Paulcast.
I promise not to drive and podcast at the same time. We will be parked and then start the podcast. I would say. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it both ways.
I think we really freak the guest out, just like going 90 down the interstate.
I think maybe
while we record.
Maybe we put them in the car instead of driving to them. We just pick them up, and it's like, what's that dude that has
then they have to drive
karaoke,
the whole time.
car karaoke?
Oh, James Corden?
Yeah. Maybe we do a James Corden thing, but
carpool.
We just make them
RV karaoke.
We heat up the car really hot.
Yeah.
Or make sure that they're in the passenger
seat. So they sweat
seat
the
with
whole
all
time.
Heated seats things on and all of that. We're trying
really
to wrap this up, and I'm not doing a great job, but that's okay. So anyway,
we want this podcast.
We hope to
be
see you next time. We're
going
to be better. I promise I'll be better at pool in a year. In a year's time,
maybe if we'll
look back at this and go, "Wow, he is really not improved." And
we need private lessons, is what we're saying.
If anybody out there does private pool lessons,
we will fly you to Nashville on your own expense.
You'll be on a Paulcast.
You will
at your complete expense, and teach us for free how to play pool better, so that everyone can have a better experience at it.
We do have great craft services here.
Last thing I'll say: if you have not checked out the Bones video, then you probably have no idea what this Paulcast was about. And if you have, then I would encourage you to go check out the other videos on the channel.
Castle, Watermelon Sugar.
And even the ones that don't have many views, that were like the itty bitty living space stories that were, that we started out with.
Yeah.
We started this thing 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And went from like 60 views.
Yeah.
Now
we're
going, woo, this is fun.
Yeah.
And and we were excited about that. To, the average podcast says 1,200 viewers, and now the videos are, into
10,000.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Doing stuff like that. So we just appreciate
thank you guys
doing
so
it.
much.
Gives us a great opportunity over this time to really get back to the reason that we love doing the kind of arts that we do. So, and hopefully we will get to bring it out on the road.
Indeed.
Real soon. All right.
Jinx.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Eyes. Mouth. Ear. What were the other Will Smith things that
Nose.
to do?
No.
Nose. At the camera. I don't know, but I feel like I look like Will Smith sometimes. I look in the mirror and I just go, man, I look a lot.
Same height.
I am just as fit and
definitely
attractive
as Will Smith.
That's what I feel. I'm sure.
No one else feels that way.
A couple people might disagree, but
I think most.
I don't know. We're out of here.
Okay.